How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Living the dream.
Good.
Friday.
All is well.
We may have to start off with a shot of coffee. Everybody's, has it not? Yeah, there we go, Steve. Thank you. It's been a long week. All right, I'm seeing a couple people jump on, but well, welcome to the 231st day of the year. And wow, it's good to be back in Columbia and seeing all these kids, or at least having them back. It's a fight every day for parking and driving conditions down in downtown Columbia. I told y'all this last week, beware, these new kids can't drive, so just be careful. All right, let's hit a couple things first, and then it is, by the way, National Potato Day. And if that does not entice you enough, it is National Soft Ice Cream Day. So, hey, take your pick of which one you want to celebrate, or both. My favorite is actually maybe a French fry dipped in ice cream. That may be too much information for some of y'all, but whatever. It is splurge on a Friday. All right. Shout out to Rich and his team. The South Carolina Broadcaster of the Year station.
No, thank you very much.
That's congratulations to you and your whole team. Y'all do a good job. So great recognition for y'all. We're happy for you. All right, national front. We're going to have some news today. Due's coming out with some unemployment numbers for South Carolina. One thing that we need to keep monitoring is right now, South Carolina is about 5% below the national average in job participation. So our numbers have been low. Our unemployment has finally superseded what we were before COVID, but our participation rate is pretty low at 57%. So I'm interested to see where that number goes this month. If we're 5 points below the national average, that's a lot of people that are sitting home and not working. And like I went to a coffee shop today, and they couldn't serve half the stuff that we needed because they didn't have enough people working. So it is impacting every small business. We talked about this last week, specifically about the unemployment numbers and what it means, and inflation and that impact. But unemployment numbers are really a key indicator of where we're going for the future, and at least the short term. But that low participation rate it's been like this for a while, but we haven't seen any movement on it. And I know that DUE has created a committee within the organization. Department of Employee Workforce has looked at create a committee to dig in to figure out why we're seeing low numbers and what's causing that. So we know what started it, but why are they not coming back? And so that's going to be, we are seeing so many small businesses pop up, and so many businesses limit their hours because of this. And all that does is impact profitability, by the way. You're limiting somebody's ability to earn money when you shut down those stores early. So anyway, a couple of interesting questions presented to me this week was, how does USC and the 60,000 kids that we have, college kids, whatever, how does that impact the economy in Columbia? Not just from we know what the economic impact is, but what about, does that help local economy, the sales and all that stuff? Does it help that more than it does it help employment opportunities? Meaning, can these college kids that are finally back help ease some of the burdens that some small businesses and restaurants are having? Yes to both, but the greater impact is obviously the ability for all those 60,000 kids that purchase things. The buying power that they have is significant. So, but we'll have to see how this trickled down. USC, we mentioned, has the largest freshman class they've ever had. Will those kids go out and find part-time jobs? I hope so, because we do need it. So we'll see what Duke comes out with later this morning. Also big this morning, in fact, 5 minutes ago, it started USC's Board of Trustees meeting, and they're electing new leadership today. I know they had a plan going into today, but that does not mean that plan will pan out. Like sometimes they start meetings and end differently than they had anticipated. So I won't predict what the outcome is going to be, but that's big news for us, just to see what type of who's going to be chairing that. Also this week, I had a great meeting at Fort Jackson on Wednesday. My days are running together. I think it was Wednesday. 4-star General Paul Funk was down. He's over training for all of the U.S. Army, was in town to discuss a program called PAYS with the state of South Carolina. The governor was there, lieutenant governor was there, every cabinet was represented there. So they had a good number of folks in attendance, but it was the first program. South Carolina was the first partner for this program in the country, but it gives veterans, folks retiring out of the military, an opportunity to interview with it allows certain number of positions that you have to have interviews from veterans, and it's a way to hire vets out of active duty into the private sector. So it's a good program. Excited to see that. It does not require hiring, by the way. It just gives them access to interviews. So anyway, thanks for General Funk coming down. He calls himself Funk, not General. He says, I'm Funk. And he is the coolest cat ever, retiring September 8th out of the military. He's been in 42 years or something crazy like that. But he has more energy than the Energizer Bunny. So I hate that he's retiring, but he's been a good friend of Columbia. He's down, by the way, like every month because he loves hanging with troops and the new recruits. And so anyway, enjoy being with him on Wednesday. A little bit more regional and not just South Carolina, but an interesting article hit yesterday. Centene Health out of St. Louis has just pulled back an expansion in Charlotte. And this is significant because it's the first one I've seen of its magnitude. They had announced a $1 billion campus in Charlotte, over 3,200 jobs. They yanked that and said, nah, because of the changing conditions in the workplace, we're not going to be expanding to the East Coast. It was the largest investment ever announced in Charlotte and job-wise, and they pulled the plug on it because of the changing workplace scenarios, meaning with more people, remote workforce issues, they're pulling out. So a big loss to our friends in Charlotte, but interesting to see what other announcements follow or just the trends, but just throw that out there. They call it a fundamental shift. No joke, right? We all know that, but that was pretty interesting. Let's see, other big news in South Carolina. The Senate took up this week the Dobbs issue and Roe v. Wade. They're going to be meeting for a couple of weeks. The General Assembly is coming back in September. This was prescribed, right? They had planned to do this back in June. The House coming in and the Senate coming in. The Supreme Court ruled this week, put a temporary stay on the decision. And I'm not getting involved with this issue. I'm just saying this is unbelievably what the South Carolina Supreme Court did this week. All 5 justices signed on a temporary order that threw that out. Well, now the Senate and the House don't know what to do. And basically it takes it back to the 1974 decision. All that to be said, nothing is going to take place in South Carolina until this is some type of resolution for this. So it has thrown any monkey wrench in to talk about taxes, anything talking about tort reform, education, whatever, throw it out. We got a new issue on the table, unfortunately. So more to come on that. Just know that expect the unexpected again in South Carolina politics. Locally, let's say there was a great article in the Greenville Biz, of all places, to talk about Columbia's business-friendly initiatives. And so look at that. I mean, Anna is on it. Thank you, Anna. It's a good article from some small businesses in Columbia, but also Mayor recommended things that they're trying to do from a business-friendly perspective. And there was some conversation at this week's city council meeting about the impact of the parking variance that they've been pushing, which is small businesses less than 7,500 square feet do away with parking. And also a big one was this balance of having to have parking, but also having to have vegetation and trees and all this stuff. And there have been a number of cases where people have built facilities in town or new apartment complexes and had to give up parking spaces to plant trees. Well, I'm all for trees and I'm all for parking, but we don't need one or the other. We need both. But we have such limited parking, there's no need to do away with parking space if there's not front, not streetscaping, not any of that. But anyway, it's a common sense approach to dealing with business growth. We need it. So we're very much in support of what the city's trying to do. It's going to pay dividends. And had a good conversation with the mayor this week about things progressing, and actually we're seeing the fruits of their labor by making things more business friendly in Columbia. And just, you've all heard me talk about the announcement effect, where you just announce things, boom, things happen. And it's because of the trends and the way the energy and things that you put in place may not fully be implemented, but people see that and are willing to take a risk to invest in a climate that's been getting better for business. So kudos to the city, but that was a good article just as a reference. Also want to acknowledge we have 6 local companies that just got put in the top 5,000 businesses in the country. Smoke Halls Food, Terra Stride, Jolly Law Group, Stanley Law Group, Diesel Laptops, Tyler Roberts, great dude, and Pinnacle Consulting all made it into the top 5,000 fastest growing companies in the United States. So congratulations to them. All right. It's hard to believe we have rain, over 50% chance up and through September, and the poor folks around the Colorado River can't get enough. So hopefully we can share some of our rain with them. Though we need it, so I don't want to say no to that, but Mother Nature is looking, September is going to be a wild ride. I'm putting that on record right now. Okay. We have not had an active East Coast storm. I don't want one, but 2020 is not over. So
Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth.
Sorry, Rebecca. Hey, I don't want one, but I'm just saying averages. We got to keep watching the tropics. That's all.
You're so right. I've got to be prepared.
Don't want to jinx it. All right. Rebecca, what else is going on with the Red Cross?
Well, we are in full preparedness mode, right? We're preparing for, an active season. We know it's going to be. We're ready, as ready as we can be. Getting ready for Sickle Cell Awareness Month in September, doing a lot of good stuff and just keeping our messaging out there.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
What else is going on? Nothing. Dr. Witherspoon, I've heard you've had a quiet week this week. Well, not really quiet. Back to school, uneventful beginning, which is, I mean that in a positive sense, which is good. So,
yeah, we had a great start. You're right. Even Sheriff Lott commented at the Fort Jackson event, hey, I hadn't heard from you, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But a good start. Kids are glad to be back, teachers and parents. So Looking forward to a great year.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
I love structure, and my kids don't share that with me, but I am so glad they're back in school.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being with us this morning.
All righty.
All right. Anyone else got some good of the cause? All right. It's time to start calling. All right. Let me think. Adam's, I'm gonna give everybody a chance to think because Adam he is not afraid of shout outs here. Adam.
Hey,
Y'all been
everybody.
busy?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we're getting ready for fall event season on our event side, which is very promising as far as reporting that a lot of the annual events that we've been a part of and fortunate to be a part of are back in full force. And August is really, really slow. July is really, really slow. I always say when the heat goes up, the events go down because nobody wants to get out in it. But it's planting season, so it is a good sign for Columbia and the Midlands that a lot of this is back in full force. And on our commercial installation side, we just finished a project in the Russell House with Garvin Design Group and Hood Construction. A lot of digital signage around too on that second floor. And if we can help anybody in any way with anything, just let me know. We're 7 days a week. I say we work 9 to 5 and 5 to 9. Have a good weekend.
That's awesome. Tara, how's everything? Apple One.
Oh, it is fantastic. I'll agree with Adam. Summer's over. Everybody's back in focus. So things are moving quicker. I think that's a lot of key to hiring the right people and keeping them engaged is to move quickly and capture that great talent.
Great. Thanks for joining this morning.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, who's next? Kevin Wade. How's business? Kevin Wade with IntelliSystems.
Find my unmute button. Well, let's see. We are, COVID accelerated a trend. People working from home, and of course, we're in the IT and communication business. So the old days of having a phone system with a box in the wall in the closet's kind of gone away. And like I said, COVID accelerated that to move into more of a VoIP phone model. So we've skipped over a number of years doing a promo we did back in 2015. We called the Extreme Phone Makeover. And in essence, back then we gave a phone system away with businesses that had to provide basically tell us why they needed a new phone system. And we had a drawing with a bunch of people involved, some guest judges. We did videos that they could sort of separate themselves from other contestants. And we're going to do one for the first time in a few years, starting in September after Labor Day. It'll go for about 2 months. And so a business out there is going to win a year of VoIP phone service.
All right. Great. If you got a need, call Kevin. All right. Anyone else? Y'all, why are y'all being shy today?
It takes a while to put together the pieces.
Somebody was talking and it was muted. I couldn't hear somebody. All right. Well, let's do this. We're going to table this conversation until next Friday, but I really implore y'all to drink coffee prior to this. It would help the conversation, or whatever tea or whatever you got. Thank you, Steve. All right. We'll have more next week. We got new numbers coming out on the economy, on jobs, the Senate next week. Yes, sir, Steve.
So I'd be curious to see when the CDC's restructuring of their organization and how they're trying to provide information in a clearer manner impacts things, what that looks like, or if it's just to try to deflect some, as they put it, they're prepared for 75 years and they failed to meet expectations. Curious to see what they learn out of that.
Yeah.
In the messaging.
I was actually, I don't know about y'all, but I found it refreshing actually that somebody that heads an agency stands up and said, we made some bad decisions and we've got to do better. I could listen, there's nobody perfect. I'm all, but admitting it is the biggest issue. And so I was actually pleased to see we were all going through COVID. Nobody, it was, I wasn't around the last pandemic, neither was anybody on this call. So anyway, I thought that was, but you're right. And how they, with the new guidelines, we'll see what happens this fall, new strains with schools, with work. It's very interesting, but I agree with you. I think that's going to be very telling what they come up with and some new strategies. But the communication is the biggest piece that they can work on. Yeah, good point there, Steve.
They're probably heading off criticism that they will likely get legislatively next year.
Oh, absolutely. That's they're pre-gaming because when they come back, and again, it is election cycle time for both in South Carolina and the House of Representatives. It's going to be noisy September and October. Midterm elections are just not pretty.
Hey, Carl, this morning, CDC has Richland County still listed as high, but if you take a look at the entire state of South Carolina, there's really good news. It's clearing up kind of all around us. A lot of moderate, even some low in looks like over in Lee County, et cetera. So if that trend continues, that's good for us.
That is really good. And we will probably, because of the demographics in Columbia, we'll still be a little higher than others. That is good. That's good news. All right. Well, I hope a little bit of scattered showers over the next few days does not discourage y'all from getting out and enjoying the weekend. It's going to be a packed weekend, lots going on. And we are just a mere 2 weeks away from the start of Gamecock football. So all will be right in the world. Next week, though, college football does start. Gamecocks just don't start until the 3rd, but we're getting closer to some normalcy in life. So enjoy the weekend. Thanks for y'all being with us today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your partnership with the Chamber. We will see y'all here next week. Same bat channel. Take care.